Welcome to the Haven Collective. I am Sonia Brown, and this is the Beacon Bit. Today we're reflecting on Exodus 2. The word Exodus always reminds me of the Bob Marley song Exodus, and the lyrics pop in my head. Exodus, movement of the people. Open your eyes and look within. Are you satisfied with the life you are living? We know where we're going. We know where we're from. We're leaving Babylon. We're going to our fatherland. This was what I knew of Exodus before I started attending church around the age of 5. I really thought that this would be a Christian song that we would sing in the church. I liked the vision and hope it provided of a homeland, and that there was a call for someone to lead us back to where we were from. The song reminded me of what was going on around me. I have shared in the past that I grew up on the Navajo reservation. My family lived on the land called the Navajo-Hopi Joint Use Area. The dispute began because of the United States government taking the land and allocating parts of the land to the Navajo and Hopi tribe. The Hopi tribal land was surrounded by the Navajo tribal land. And many years later, this government decision affected my family and many others. My parents had to make the decision to be relocated, and we moved off the Navajo reservation to Flagstaff, Arizona. In October, we're exploring how vulnerable people groups are demonized. After all, no one believes in werewolves or vampires, but we are convinced immigrants are eating our pets, or that politicians want to steal our children. This sort of language makes me think about how my people have been treated, and it brings me back to the book of Exodus. Today's passage shows how those in political power demonize a group of people. In Exodus, Pharaoh convinced himself and the Egyptians that the Hebrew immigrants had a secret agenda to conquer Egypt. Pharaoh used the rhetoric to convince his people the Hebrews were monsters, dangerous outsiders, and that gave him justification to enslave them. In Exodus 2, we watch Moses witness how his people are being treated by the Egyptians. We watch him feel, maybe for the first time, the consequences of Pharaoh's racist rhetoric. God uses that encounter to move Moses towards liberation. God is always at work to lead people to a greater freedom than the one of the system around us. Could we be like Moses? Could we allow God to open our eyes to the injustice we see around us? Maybe that begins with paying attention to how our leaders talk about vulnerable populations. Maybe it requires us to look inside ourselves. Do we harbor any hurts, resentments, or hate that burdens us? Are we guilty of making monsters out of people made in God's image? I do get upset how the indigenous community has been treated in the United States and around the world. I get angry when I hear my people's beliefs and practice demonized. God has also opened my eyes and heart to see that people have experienced similar injustice of displacement for their homeland. I didn't realize how much this relocation off the land affected me and many others. What could I do to take action about speaking up for others? What are the effects of relocation from your homeland? And how does the community change? What are the emotional and mental effects of relocation? This week in our baking gatherings, we're going to discuss how to spot when people are making monsters out of human beings. I look forward to hearing your insights, concerns, and wisdom. Until Sunday, grace and peace be with you.